Hello everybody, let's talk about a safety presentation that you can use on virtually any Toyota model from the driver's side position when you're presenting. So we've got customers that we figured out their focus is safety, and let's talk about 3 features that we can share with them. First, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, let me share with you that every Toyota is equipped with multi-stage airbags. The way this works is, in the event of a collision where the airbag deploys, it's going to deploy with different force depending on 3 different things. Number 1, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, if your seatbelt is on, it will deploy with less force than if your seatbelt were off. Also, if you move the seat closer to the steering wheel, it will deploy with less force than if you move the seat further away. And I noticed on your trade-in that your seat was kind of close to the wheel. Again, maximizes your safety and varies the airbag pressure and force with your individual driving experience. The third thing that it does is it varies the amount of force that it deploys with based on how severe the collision is. All making sure that your maximum safety is in mind in the event of a collision. Second, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, another great Toyota safety feature that, remember the crumple zones we talked about earlier? That in the event of a front or a rear collision, absorb, direct, and reflect crash energy away from you, the driver, and your passengers inside the vehicle. In order for crumple zones to work, there's also a steel safety cage that surrounds the occupants of the vehicle, and you can see, notice some special things. On the steel that's on the inside of these door jambs, you'll notice it's all one single piece of reinforced steel down the side of your Corolla. You'll notice big overhangs where the door overlaps the side of the vehicle, so in the event of a side collision, it's much less likely to intrude into the vehicle. Big overlaps, preventing intrusion. Same thing on the front door down here. Big overlaps, big reinforcements, all single steel without welds in between to compromise their integrity in the event of a collision. The interior of the car, much like the Camrys that race in NASCAR, is built with a steel safety cage all the way around. There are steel reinforcements that run across the top of the vehicle. This interior space is all a very solid cage construction, and the front and rear are designed again to absorb, direct, and reflect crash energy away. And you did mention that safety was important, didn't you? I thought so. In addition to that cage-like construction, there are also tubular side door beams that run inside the front and rear doors on your Corolla. Now let me talk about one key difference we have versus the competition with this. One of our key competitors, Honda, which builds a great car, they use corrugated steel side door beams, which think of like a cardboard box. They're basically like a guardrail. And if you would, push against that in this simple example, and you'll notice how easy that gives. Toyota, just like what we've learned in NASCAR, uses a tubular design for the side door beams to prevent intrusion in the event of a side collision, and they are much stronger than the corrugated design that many of our competitors use, just like a NASCAR. And you did mention that safety was important to you. Can you see how that feature could be important to you and your family? I thought so. Thank you. Last I'd like to talk about in this position is Toyota's tire pressure monitoring system. In many instances, customers will drive and have tire failure because they're not checking their tire pressure regularly, which can be a safety concern. I'm sure you know somebody that's been driving at 70 miles an hour down the highway and has a blowout, and in some cases it can cause loss of control of the vehicle. Toyota, keeping your safety in mind, and also this could make it more economical for you in reducing tire wear, Toyota has installed a tire pressure monitor inside each tire, so in the event that one gets below tire inflation pressure that's recommended by the factory, a light will come on the instrument panel warning you that it's starting to deflate. Now without this system, if you were driving down the highway and you had a leak or you had a low air pressure situation, you wouldn't know unless you put a tire pressure gauge on it. Unfortunately, if you were going on a long drive and the tire got lower and lower and lower and ultimately blew out, it would be a safety concern. In this case, the Toyota Corolla notifies you early and lets you know that you've got a low tire situation. Check it out and keeps your safety in mind, and also keeps your tire wear in check. And you did mention that safety was important, didn't you? I thought so. Thank you very much, and that ends our presentation from this position on the car.